Everyone has a local council, but today we're going to focus on Enfield. So what is a council, I hear you ask? A council is an institution that governs a specific area. Enfield is a London borough and has three main areas. Council's in charge of all of it. The borough is split into 21 wards, with 3 councillors for each ward. There are therefore 63 councils in total. These councillors are elected by the people who live in Enfield at local polling stations. In Enfield Council there are 36 Labour members and 27 Conservative members, therefore making Enfield Council Labour controlled and with a Labour leader. The Mayor, currently Kate Onolu, is also elected and attends hundreds of ceremonies throughout the borough of Enfield. So what are the main roles of a council? They are a voice for the community, they improve services, debate policy, they influence important decisions on local issues. They also have to work with all local services, for example, schools, police, and local GPs. Some of the most important things the council are responsible for include Enfield Council have a responsibility to make sure everyone has somewhere to live. Council houses are owned by the council and so are slightly cheaper than private housing. You pay rent to, you guessed it, the council. They are also responsible for maintenance, like fixing leaks in the property. Whether you like it or not, we all have to go to school, in this country till we're 18. State schools are funded by the council. Under this department, they also fund things like playgroups, breakfast clubs, after-school clubs, youth centres, connections, and centres for special education needs. Enfield is a very green borough, which means lots of work for the council. They're responsible for 902 hectares, the equivalent of 1,347 Tottenham Hotspur football pitches. Parks are important to people, and so the council is in charge of looking after them to make sure they're nice places to be, so you can commune with nature in peace and walk your dog surrounded by lovely flowers rather than 10-foot tall stinging nettles. The council have a huge responsibility when it comes down to waste and getting rid of it. Our bins are provided by the council and collected and emptied by them, usually on a weekly basis. Even with 1 million tonnes of waste being produced every year, Enfield Council manages to stay on top of it all. The council has a duty of care to the people of Enfield. For example, it provides support for being a carer, helps keep you safe and aims to prevent abuse, provides care homes and support, gives mental health support, helps people with benefits, legal and financial issues. The council works in partnership with some private companies in order to provide all the services that people of Enfield require. Enfield Council are also responsible for registering all births, deaths and marriages that occur in the Enfield Borough. All registrations happen here at Gentleman's Row Registry Office. Enfield Council also have regulations in order to carry out correct and legal planning permissions. These cover any sort of planning, building, structural change to buildings, and demolition of buildings. Planning permission, once granted, must be followed. If you don't bother getting planning permission or decide to ignore the terms by building a 3-storey turret, not only will the council fine you, your building's probably going to get knocked down too. Leisure, culture and tourism are also highly important to Enfield Council. The council have funded many events in the area, such as the New River Festival. The council activities also include leisure centres, libraries, museums, festivals and street parties for special occasions. The Queen's Diamond Jubilee is a prime example. Enfield Council's budget for 2012 to 13 is £1,031,000,000. So where does all this money come from? The council receive most of their money from central government. However, the funding is changing and like everyone else, councils are also suffering from budget cuts. Part of their budget comes from council tax, which is a tax on property that the council collects in order to pay for the services you and I enjoy. For 2012 to 13, council tax will account for £121.5 million. The Council also gets awarded grants and subsidies for certain sectors, for example, education and schools, and collects money in the form of charges and fees. As hard as it might be to imagine, just think what your home and area would be like without your council. Would you even have a home? Would you have a nice school to attend? Rubbish wouldn't be collected, grass and parks would be overgrown and neglected. Services we all rely on and potentially take for granted wouldn't exist. So the question is, could we possibly live without the council? In our eyes, the answer is no. But what do you think?